Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, for another live stream. My name is Brian McLogan, and this is week number 17 for Open Q&A. I hope everybody is doing very well in this quarantine kind of life and distance learning. Happy Ramadan for all of you that are celebrating. It is some crazy times for sure, and I do apologize for showing up a little bit late. I had to get to my girls for a little bit of a walk. And also, you probably don't know because I'm using a green screen, but I'm in a different studio. Well, I'm not really in a different studio. I'm using a different setup. So within the last couple weeks, I have been kind of transforming the bedroom that I record out of. So therefore, it's a little bit easier for me to kind of walk my way into things and kind of make my videos. And also, I wanted to kind of create some more videos. So not just me doing the green screen, but also kind of doing a little bit of a backdrop and everything like that. So if you're interested, some things that I probably will be coming up on my channel in the next couple of weeks, we'll just kind of be giving you guys a little bit behind the scenes of what I'm doing and also some new videos to hopefully bring you guys out. But up until that point, if you have not already noticed, I am actively publishing a lot of the content that I've already created throughout this year to help you guys through. If you are part of my membership, you'll see that I'm doing a lot of the stuff that I am covering for my own students. I am publishing the videos that I'm doing inside my own classroom that is previously just really kind of published for my own students. But if that is something you're interested in, if you're taking pre-calculus, I think that will be a benefit to you. So therefore, you can kind of see what I'm doing from now until the end of the year to prepare my students for the end of the year exam as well as test. So I do see Clean Water, Joey MTV, Big Brain, Sabrina, Addie. Thank you guys for joining in. Jared, awesome, from Australia. Cheers, mate. Let's see. Elijah, good to see you. And let me see. Actually, who? Jared, what do you say? Union or league? I want to see your opinion because I played both, so I'm kind of interested to see what you say. All right. Let me go see. So I do have a couple questions. Not much though. So if you guys do have something that you would like to add to that, I have fx equals 2 times x plus 1 to the 4th plus 1, just to identify the transformations. And then we have also to identify the zeros and the multiplicity. So I see some of you guys have also, like, a lot of the questions have already been added to. I'm really big actually compared to previous live streams. Let's see. Well, I don't think I'm going to zoom out. So I'll keep myself big, I guess, for this time. But I am like very big compared to earlier ones. So I guess I'll just have to remember how I'm writing on the screen to make sure that I am being careful. But anyways, the point that I was trying to originally make was that a lot of you guys have been posting on Discord, which is awesome because a lot of the questions that have been posed have already been answered by other people. Like I have actually created an environment where the questions that I was supposed to answer, I don't have that opportunity because people are already answering them. So that's good and bad. That is very good for people that are looking for questions. Like, post your questions, people will answer them. The Discord link is in the description. It is free. Go up there, post questions, help other people that are posting questions. That's what that community is there for. The idea behind the Q&A channel, though, is if you would like me to answer your question on the live stream, then please go ahead and post in there. You can post it in different sections, like post it on the Q&A and maybe somewhere else. Maybe somebody else can answer it. But if you still want me to address it on the live stream, that's cool. But yeah, that's the idea of it. And then also, you guys can also always post your questions on the live stream or on my channel post, which I had for you guys as well. So let me just go and see. Yeah, I think that was it though. I don't think any questions actually came across that. They did not. Cool. But that is always an option for you guys. All right, let's go ahead and see. But anyway, since I have a few questions, if you guys do have any additional questions in the chat, a lot of times I am not able to get to those questions in the chat because I have so many questions that have been like proposed on Discord and before that. I'm like, hey guys, post your questions, but sorry, I'm not going to get to them. But that might not be the case this time. So, I'll be more than happy to see what I can address for you guys in the chat. And Jared says, I'm going with League. Well, very, very well. Yeah, I like League a lot. I think definitely from a viewer perspective, League is much more viewable, like interesting to watch and like engage with. From a player perspective, I didn't really like League until I really started playing League. And then I understood how much more complicated and well, just not really complicated, but obviously like more in detail you could really get with League. But I think there still is a big part of me that still just kind of like appreciates all of Union and what Union kind of brings to like a part of rugby. I think there's different like aspects and characteristics of all the different players and how that all plays together. Whereas League is awesome and it's very fun, but also like everybody is very similar, like as far as their attributes and what they can contribute. And Union, you kind of have a lot more of that diversity, which I think is like just really, really fun and interesting to watch. But I will say from playing both codes, I really, really do appreciate one. And I don't think there is a clear answer of one is so much better than the other. All right. So integrate. I don't want to integrate from there. It's been too long since I've done the derivatives or not the derivatives and integration. So I'm just going to hold off on the calculus. I apologize. It's just not something I've done in so long. So I'm just going to hold off for them on my live streams. Everyone spam. Thank you. No, big brain. No, everybody spam. What motivated you to become a math teacher? So Aiden asks, what motivated you to become a math teacher? So, yeah, a lot of people are now like, Kelly Phelps, I don't know, what is League? Rugby League and Rugby Union. I'll just leave it at that. You guys can do your own research and see what we are talking about. We're talking about rugby though. And Australia is one of the Australia and United Kingdom. They're kind of the few, not many, like United States. We don't really there's not a big rugby league kind of community in as far as like other countries, but in Australia there's a very, very big rugby union and rugby league. So it's very like predominant one or two of the codes, where that's not as predominant in other countries. So anyways, but let me go ahead and get into the question. What motivated me to become a math teacher? Well, it's kind of actually crazy. I had one of the things that really kind of keeps me going as a math teacher is there are two thoughts that I had. Is my daughter coming? No, she's not. There are two thoughts that I remember from high school. Was one, I wanted to become a math teacher because I wanted to coach. Like when I was in high school, the sports that I played baseball, wrestling, and football. Those are my three sports. And all of my math teachers, crazy enough, were also my coaches for one sport or another. I think all the way, maybe except for one. No, but I think every single math teacher I had throughout my high school career was it wasn't my personal coach, but every single math teacher that I had was a sports coach. So kind of crazy in that regard. And 3 out of the 4 years were my actual personal coach. So I kind of had that little bit of mentorship that, becoming a coach and a teacher, that was kind of like a little bit, I looked up to them. They were obviously some mentors in that aspect. But then there was also that respect. There was also that portion that I didn't really like math when I was in high school. It didn't really engage me. And, but I did like appreciate it. There was something I kind of liked about it. I just wasn't great at it. It wasn't like a natural benefit for me. But there was that kind of little spark that I'm like, I want to teach math to help others that are like me. Crazy. I say it now because that's how one of the things I like, advertise myself. Like, hey, I'm like, this was me. Like, I feel like, I know exactly what it's like to struggle with math. And that's exactly who I was, which is true. It's absolutely true. But it's kind of crazy that I also had that thought and thinking when I was in high school. I'm like, I wish I could become a teacher so I could teach people better. It's kind of crazy. I don't think there was many people that like thought like that too. Like, oh, I like don't like this, but I want to teach it so I can do it better. You know, so those are just kind of some of the thoughts that kind of came from my brain. And yeah, sure enough, I decided to go to school to become a math teacher. That is, and I've been one ever since. Yeah, math is a little bit of second love. All right. I do like it. About 5 million people will go through league out of 25 million population. Wow, that's a lot. That's crazy, Jared. 5 million out of 25 million population go with league. Wow. Yeah, I do. I mean, I do. I do remember. I do have some family that's over in Australia, and I do have some friends that I think league is more popular than union over there as well. So that's crazy though. Wow, I didn't know it was that. This one. I mean, definitely in the United States, league or union is much more popular than league. There is not a lot of people that are playing league, but we do have in my town. We do have a league team and stuff like that. All right. Is science your second best? No, science is not my second best by any means. Actually, my minor for a little bit was, let's go through all my minors when I was in college. My first minor was physics. I don't know why. I thought physics would be a good idea, but it wasn't. So I dropped that. And then I thought maybe doing the communications route would be easier to like offset my mathematics. And that wasn't a good idea because the only good thing about communications was I did do my speech class in there, which was great because I got used to talking in front of other people. So I did like that portion. But communications, I had to nix that. And then I ended up going into political science, and that ended up being my minor. So I actually could teach a political science in there. Actually, I never got certified for it, so I couldn't actually teach it. But that was one thing that really actually interested me was political science. So that ended up being my minor. So yeah, I'm currently majoring in math. I really enjoy math, but there is a love-hate relationship with it, Melinda. Yes, I totally agree, Melinda. I totally agree. I'm not really sure what else to add to with that. I love mathematics. And, it's kind of also one of those things that, the more you learn, the more you realize that you don't know, and like there's so much to climb. And that's, also one of those regrets that I have coming into teaching. I'm like, yes, I love teaching, but also like with going into teaching, like even though I learn something new every single year that I teach a course, I also realized I'm like, what else could I keep on learning? If I went back to school and actually like investigated, got in deep into this stuff. There's also a little bit of a need for like me and intellectual knowledge of like, I want to keep on exploring this stuff. But the crazy thing is like, too, it's like, there is no end, like you can immerse yourself in this mathematics and you're never going to learn everything that you could ever want to learn. So it's kind of one of those like, I don't know, is there a good stopping point or is there a point where you can just satisfy your need and like continue to learn at your own pace? I don't know. It's crazy. I do really, really want to continue my education, but also continue teaching. So it's kind of like that little balance at the moment. Geez, oh man. Love that mustache. That's an old mustache. I'm not sure if you're talking about me, but that's an old mustache. If there was a couple videos that had that. Perry, could you help me with trigonometric ratios? Sure, I can if you let me know what you would like help with. Have you talked to Eddie Wu, the math? No, Eddie Wu has not reached out to me. I have reached out to Eddie Wu and I wanted to get together with him, but we have never connected actually. So I am hoping that one day we'll be able to do that. He is very, very busy, as I am myself. So, I don't hold anything against him. But I have watched a lot of his videos and I think a lot of what he does is absolutely amazing. And I think it would be really, really cool for me and Eddie to kind of get together and do some kind of collaboration or do like a little video or whatever else. But, it is something we'll just have to kind of see how that unfolds. Because yeah, I am very busy. He is very busy. He is teaching. I am teaching. And we both try to also do this YouTube stuff, which is a lot to do in addition to everything else we do. So hopefully one of these days, though, we will connect. Obviously my family and friends in Australia are very, very well known of him. And so they always kind of push that as well. But I am definitely a big fan, and hopefully something will come of that soon. Big range. Samir, if you think that what you said, oh, no. Samir, what'd you say about me? That was not very nice. I don't even know what you said, but I'm not going to follow. All right. Well, I was going to do some math. It was supposed to be an open Q&A, but you guys are... How can you use trigonometric ratios formula? I do not know what the trigonometric ratios formula is. The Math Powers guy is pretty good. Yeah, I know. I've seen the Math is Power guy. I'm not sure exactly of who exactly is or his videos. But yeah, definitely some things that I am interested in is, I've been around the YouTube space since 2010. So it has been kind of cool seeing people that originally were creating some videos and then not. And also kind of people that have just jumped on the scene and doing like awesome things. So yeah, it's definitely pretty cool to kind of see the evolution of the little math topics and everybody going through. For me, I've just been like creating videos that as I teach. I mean, nothing crazy. I'm not expecting anything much from that. But yeah, it's definitely something that I want to keep on improving, and then also keep on reaching out to others that are doing the same stuff and helping our own content. All right. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Samir. Let me know if you need anybody help or anybody to talk to, because I am available for you guys. When a school is going back in the U.S., I do not know, Jared. Most schools, as far as I am familiar with, are going to be out for the rest of the year. So that is typically most schools, at least in the south of the United States, are going to be done around like early June, and then like in the Northeast or Midwest, should be out by like early June. So I think most of them have kind of set and canceled out for the rest of the year, which I think just kind of makes the most amount of sense. We still don't really know where everything is at. And Jared, I think you guys are going, well, ours are going back in May. Yeah, because you guys are just starting back up, right? Yeah, that's insane. Because yeah, you guys are just going to be starting back your year. Really, is that when your year starts? I assume, Jared, is you're starting back in May, and then going through the year. Yeah, it's going to be kind of interesting, especially to see even if we are going to restart back in August. Because yeah, as Vichu says, like yeah, New York City is very, very bad, and yeah, there's other cities that might have. They're not going to have, obviously. I mean, New York City is a hugely dense population, but we will kind of see how that's going to impact other cities, even though they're not going to be the same size in New York City. Do you have a degree in secondary education? Yes, I do. That is my main focus, is mathematics in secondary education. Yes. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get on to these two problems. If you guys do have a problem that you'd like me to cover, I will be more than happy to do that. But thank you so much, guys, for actually giving me a little bit more to talk about. So I was kind of, even though this is a open Q&A, I do like always addressing your guys' questions and answering them. I will be again going live on Wednesday in kind of more that little informal track where I'll just answer, what you guys have in the chat or what you guys would like to talk about. And then if there are some questions, which I do see some of you guys are like, oh, he's talking about math now. Let's go and get to that. I see your questions. Let me go ahead and add them through there. Hold on, guys. Okay. Sangeeta, I see it. Don't need to write it 5 more times. But let's go in order. And before I get to your math, guys, I'll try to get to some questions. What is negative? I'm not sure what you are trying to. Are you trying to solve? So Sagiti, you're gonna have to provide some more information because I don't know what that is. What are you trying to do? So that is what you kept on posting, but I'm not sure. Is that equal to something, or you trying to identify the transformations? You're trying to graph that. So you're gonna have to let me know what that is before I can do that. Could you please help me solve an equations example of 10 over x minus x equals 3? Maybe. Let's see what that looks like. So 10 over x minus x equals crap, I forgot it. Where is it? 10 equals 3. Yeah, I'll probably have to go and take a look at that a little bit, but we'll go and see if I can at least get you set up from there. I don't know what you mean with trigonometric ratios formula or what you are looking for, so please let me know about that. Yeah, no, it's so difficult, Sabrina, dealing with online lectures, especially for a lot of you guys that are not used to it. And also teachers, not just you, it's teachers, like, and really our whole system is not used to this online learning. Mr. Beast, you're back. Can you solve n log? I don't know what I'm solving for, or what's in the base, or what's in the. You might have to get that back into me, Jimmy, because I'm not sure what exactly your equation is. 100 log 7 minus 8 equals 9n. So maybe I will say, oops, oh, there's no room there. So 100. One day, the real Mr. Beast will get to me. Miss McGlynn, can you please graph? Oh, it's graph. Okay. Jeez, nobody wants to graph that. All right, but I'll graph it. Okay. All right, Jimmy, what do you got here? You have 100. Is it log of 1 equals 9n? Like, I don't know. Like, 9 minus 8 is 1, or it's negative 1. Well, that's going to be undefined, so you can't do anything there. So let me know back when you have that question, Mr. Beast, because that question doesn't make any sense. Because log base 10 of 7 minus 8 is negative 1, which is undefined, so therefore n would be undefined. So let me know if I am not understanding your question properly. Sorry, Sabrina, I am not handling any recursive or sequences in series. It's been a little bit too long for me, so I'm just kind of holding off on those. Good evening to you. I emailed you a week or so regarding little information. Jimmy, I will look back into it. I'm not sure where you emailed me, but I will try to do my best to take a look. I am behind on some of my emails. I will say that, but I will say if you do have a question on they'd like me to answer for a live stream, make sure you get that on the Discord or on the community chat. All right. I do not understand what the trigonometric ratios formula is or what you are referring to. So you can give me a little bit more information on that. That'd be great. All right, elimination. I can do one of those. It's been a while for that. So this you, sure. Let's go and do a little elimination. 3x plus 2y equals 1 over 2x minus 5y, because of y would you not equal 7? All right, we can go and do that. We'll solve by elimination. All right. How would you solve? Yes, I got the elimination. Can you go over secants? Oh, Brian McLogan is back. I guess everybody is coming through. I mean, secant is just a line that's going to pass twice. That's going to have 2 points on the circle. As far as like your circle formulas, it's been a while since I taught circles. So I might not be able to give you the best example of what you are covering from there. No, I cannot give you how to solve trigonometric problems because I spend like 5 weeks going over trigonometric problems. So I'm not sure what I could cover in one live stream that would answer your question of solving trigonometric ratios or trigonometric problems. So if you can be more specific on maybe a certain problem that you're having, that would be great. I don't know what trigonometric problems are. All right. Sir, do you play basketball? No, I do not play basketball. Actually, basketball is one of the sports that I hate. And the reason why I hate basketball is because I'm not very good at it at all. So when I was in high school, I used to wrestle. And so I'm not, if any of you are wrestlers or wrestlers, wrestlers are not basketball players and vice versa. So those are like opposite polar, like complete opposite people. So yes, I am not very good at basketball at all. Tennis would be the same thing. I am not very good at tennis. I've actually never really tried tennis or played a lot of it. But yeah. All right. I will not be here, Rhino, tomorrow. I mean, I'll be online. You can always post questions to me, but I will not be going live tomorrow. But I'll always be here, I guess. Could you help me with this question? Describe 2 different transformations of the parent graph of the result in the graph. I'm not really sure what you're questioning, what you're trying to get from me from that. Oh, yeah. Can you explain how to use trigonometric formula? No, because I do not know what the trigonometric formula is. But if you have something direct, then please go ahead and post it in Discord. Otherwise, all right, we need some things. All right, I am going to, okay, when you'll be online. I'll be online. Cool. All right. Let's go ahead and get to these problems. I do have 5 problems, so I do want to make sure I have enough time to go ahead and address for you guys. And I do apologize for those of you that are just like, oh, wow, now he's taking questions. Please, guys, it's always easiest if you post your questions in Discord, in the open Q&A. The link is in the description. Or if you guys go ahead and you can also put it in the community chat. So, because I post in the community chat every Saturday before I go live on Sunday. And also, I will be going live on on Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as well. So, I look very, very big on my new studio, but I didn't mean that on purpose. All right, so let's get into it. Label transformations. So I think the easiest thing that I would describe, for here is, so many of you probably don't know maybe what the quartic formula is going to look like. But guess what? It looks just like the quadratic. So if here's the quadratic, that looks horrible. But if we call that x squared, x to the 4th is going to look the same way. It's just going to be a little bit more expanded. Okay, so that's going to be x to the 4th. So the cool thing is the transformations for x squared is exactly the same thing as x to the 4th. All right, so the main thing is you really just need to understand what are the transformations of a quadratic, what are the transformations for any function. And the first thing is when you multiply by 2. So 2 is larger than 1, so that is going to be a vertical stretch of 2. Okay, so if you were to plug it into the calculator, you'd see that this graph, this parent graph, has actually been stretched by a factor of 2. Inside the function, we're also shifting the graph 1 unit to the left. So that's an x plus 1 you can see inside the function. Without going through all of that, we can say, I just bit my tongue. That is going to be a shift left 1 unit. And since we're adding a 1 outside of the function, and actually let me talk about that a little bit. Here's the parent function. Okay, so we're multiplying a 2 on the outside. That's why it's a vertical stretch. We're adding a 1 on the outside. That's why it's going to be a vertical shift. So that's going to be a shift up 1. And then since the 1 is inside of the parentheses, that's why that's a horizontal shift to the left. All right, and that is just the transformations of the quartic. And guys, it doesn't matter if that was a quartic, doesn't matter if it's a cubic, a quadratic, a exponential, a logarithmic, the transformations are going to be exactly the same. Question number 2 says zeros and multiplicity. Oh, I don't know what happened there. I guess my T got like deleted. Multiplicity and graph. f of x equals 3 times x minus 7 times x plus 3 equal squared. All right, so first thing we want to do is identify the zeros. So the zeros on a graph is going to be where the graph is going to cross the x-axis. And the zeros of a function are the values that are going to make the equation true when f of x is equal to 0. So the first thing we're going to do is set our equation equal to 0. Oops, squared. Okay, now by understanding the zero product property, I can set each and every factor equal to 0. But again, don't set 3 equal to 0 because 3 is not a factor. 3 is what we call a scalar. You could divide 3 out. 3 doesn't really matter. It's actually a vertical transformation like 2. 2 is not a factor. It's not a 0. It's like not a scalar, or I'm sorry, it's not a solution to the graph. It's not an x-intercept. It's a scalar. It's vertically stretching the graph. That's it. So 3 is the same thing. So all we're going to do is you can divide 3 out if you'd like to. So we'll just set our factors, x minus 0, x minus 7 equals 0, and x plus 3 equals 0. Or I'm sorry, x plus 3 squared equals 0. Then you can go and solve x equals 7. Here you could take the square root of both sides. X plus 3 equals 0, and then x equals negative 3. Okay, so we have two x-intercepts, 7 and negative 3. Now, if we are going to identify the multiplicity as well as graph, let's go ahead and just plot them as zeros at this point, and then we'll talk about how we understand the multiplicity in zeros. So we have a 0 at 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and at 3, 1, 2, or negative 3. Okay, so next thing is the multiplicity. Multiplicity is basically the behavior of the 0. So when we're looking at the behavior of the 0, we're looking at the power of the factor. And you can see we have two factors here. We have x minus 7 is raised to the first power, and we have x plus 3 raised to the second power. So an easy way to remember this is if the power of the factor is odd, the multiplicity of the 0 means that it is odd, so it crosses. If the power of the factor is even, that means the multiplicity is going to have that 0 bounce. So at 7, since it's odd, we're going to know it's going to cross. Oops, let's kind of go at 7. And if the multiplicity is even, that means it bounces. Now the problem is at negative 3, we don't know if it bounces up or if it bounces down. Okay, and that's why these problems for graphing can sometimes be a little bit more difficult. So what we need to do then is identify the end behavior of this graph. So the end behavior, we need to look at the leading coefficient. So if we were to expand this out, here, this would give us 3x. This would give us an x squared. So 3x times an x squared would give you a 3x cubed. We don't really care what the rest of it is, but now we know we have a 3x cubed. That means the graph is going to rise to the left and fall to the right. So from there, we can say that, all right, the graph is going to follow this pattern. So that's what the general graph would look like. As far as the multiplicity, we can just go by the powers of each of those. So here the multiplicity is 1, and here the multiplicity would be 2. All right, I'm getting into another problem for graphing the equation. So in this case, just like kind of with the quadratics and the quartics, we need to understand what the parent graph is. So the parent graph here is f of x equals the square root of x. So we need to understand really what is happening to the graph. First of all, this graph is being multiplied by negative 3. Then inside the graph, we want to factor out this 2. So I'm going to write it like this. So x plus 5 halves and then minus 4. Okay. So the reason why I'm doing that is because any any function, if we want to identify the transformations, we want to write that function as f of x times a times f of b times x minus c plus d. Okay? So whenever we're identifying the horizontal transformations, we want to make sure our variable x has a coefficient of 1. If it doesn't, we want to make sure we factor that out. A is going to be doing the same thing. That's your vertical stretch or compression, as well as the reflection about the x-axis. D is going to be your vertical shift up or down. B is going to be your horizontal stretch or compression, as well as your reflection about the y-axis. And C is going to be your shift left or right, but remember it's going to be the opposite. So once I go ahead and graph once I understand what the transformations are, then I just need to go ahead and graph it. Now, if you're actually looking for a specific graph, I would recommend using a table of values. Now, I was not given that direction by the student, so I am just going to do a very vague and general graph, because majority of the time that is all that is needed. If you need something more specific, I would not even recommend using a table. I would recommend using technology. But let's just kind of go with the fact that the student just needs a general idea of what the graph looks like. All right, so typically the graph f of x, let's see, fx equals square roots of x, that looks like this. Okay, so now the graph is being vertically stretched, and then reflected about the y-axis, right? It's going to have a factor of 2, which is going to be a horizontal compression. It's also going to be shifted 5.5 units to the left. So that's going to be 2.5, right? So actually 1.5, no, 2.5, 2.5. And then it's going to be shifted down 4 units, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's just your left 2.5, down 4. And then I don't know how you best represent a vertical stretch of 3 and a horizontal compression of 2. So I'm just going to graph a random graph there. And that's why like the stretching compression can be like kind of so difficult, especially when you're not doing something that's like exact, right? For best exact graph, use a table of values, plugging values in for x, or use graphing technology. Now, for the next example, we're trying to solve, and we recognize that we have a variable in the denominator, and we don't want a variable in the denominator. So to get rid of the variable in the denominator, we can multiply everything times x. So if we multiply everything times x, we can get 10x minus x squared equals 3x. And oh, well, thank you very much for the super chat. I very, very much appreciate it. Or actually, no, you didn't even get the super chat. You got the I appreciate you. Well, thank you so much. And actually, I hope that I did not miss you. I did not. Okay. And actually, you know what? I am actually going to come back to that one, because actually I wanted to go back through. I wanted to show something on there. So I can't remember who posted on that, but post that back on Discord, because there's something else I wanted to actually address, which I'm not going to address on my live stream. But then I did see, fixed it. Yes. Jared, I see your question. I wanted to address your question, but I'm not sure where your parentheses are. So let me fix my question. Whoever posted this question, let me know. I address that on Discord, and I will get back to you. There's one thing I actually was unknown about that I wanted to check out real quick as far as my explanation. So please make sure that you get to me on that. So post on Discord and I will address your question there. I'm not sure. Where's their parentheses? Is that it? Because that just equals x. So that means that's x plus 1 equals 1. So x equals 0. So I'm not sure if that's how easy your question was actually phrased, or if there was supposed to be parentheses somewhere that was going to address that. Because otherwise, 1/2 times 2x is just going to be x, right? So, and then you just subtract 1 from both sides. But let me know on that, and I'll be more than happy to address that question. All right. So let's get into the system of equations problem, because that is Not going to be as fun of a problem because as you can see that the variables x and y do not have the same coefficients. So when you want to solve by elimination, what our goal is to identify these same coefficients. And to do that, what we're going to have to do is multiply what we call scalars. So in this case, I'm going to use another color, blue. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to decide to eliminate the x variables. It doesn't matter which variable you decide to eliminate first. You can eliminate the x's or the y's. In this case, I'm going to eliminate the x's. So to eliminate the x's, I'm going to get the coefficients of the x variables to be the same. So what I need to do is identify the least common multiple of 3 and 2, which I know is going to be 6. So therefore, I'm going to multiply the bottom equation by 3 and the top equation by 2. Just make sure you multiply everything times those scalars. So therefore, I have a 6x plus 4y equals 2 and a, Oh, I guess I could multiply by a negative, couldn't I? Yeah, let's multiply by a negative. It makes it a little bit easier to add them instead of subtracting. Like if you were to do a positive x, then you have a 6x. Then you have to subtract the two variables. Trust me, it makes it a lot easier when you multiply by a negative. So we'll make that a negative 6x, and that will be a positive 10y equals a negative 21. Okay, now you can see that they are the same coefficient, but one is positive, one is negative. So now I can just add the two rows to give me 0x, which is just 0. This is 4y minus 10y, which is a negative 6y. And 2 minus a negative 21 would equal a 23. So this is not going to be very nice numbers unless I made some mistake, which I'm not seeing right now. So therefore, I'd have 6y is equal to 23, negative 6y, divided by negative 6. So y is equal to a 23 divided by negative 6. Okay, so that is what y is equal to. Now to solve for x, all I'm going to do is I'm going to plug that value in for y and then solve for x. It doesn't matter which equation you choose. I'll choose the top equation and see what I get. So I have a 3x plus 2. Instead of by y, let's multiply that by 23 over negative 6 equals 1. All right, so now all I need to do is solve for x. And you can see this does not seem very fun. So 3x equals, let's see, that can reduce here. That could be a 1/3, so that's going to be negative 23. Oops, that's a plus. And then if I wanted to add that, I'd have a 3x equals 1 plus 23 over 3. 3x 3 over 3 plus 23 over 3. 3x equals 26 over 3. Divide by 3, divide by 3. 3x equals 26 over 6. Oops, I'm sorry, that's an x. And therefore, x equals 26 over 6, which I guess what you can divide by a 2, which would be a 13 over 3. So there you go. Not something great and lovely as far as an answer goes, but that works. All right, Jared, let's see if you got the right question. Some more of you guys are adding in. No worry, big brain. It's okay. I appreciate your support for however long it lasts. So that's definitely okay. But I think you should. I think that's an easy argument for your parents as far as, especially if my channel or my videos has helped you out. But that's definitely okay. No worries. All right. Let's see. Well, Barry, this isn't really a real estate investor channel, but here at Panama, real estate investors can better manage his portfolio. I would definitely check with Jacksonville. One thing that my company, my real estate investment properties are managed under is Jacksonville Wealth Builders, and I'd recommend you checking them out on Facebook, and they will they do a lot of good information as far as how the economy and rentals and everything like that is being impacted. So I would definitely say check them out because they are doing a lot of great things over there. I do not use Photoshop for my thumbnails. I probably should because not all my thumbnails are very great, but that is definitely something that I do not use at the moment. Peyton and Jonathan, I see your questions, but I'm not going to be able to get to them. So please make sure you guys post them in Discord. Otherwise, guys, I think I have, Florida. All right, very good. Got it. Jacksonville Management. Thank you, Rob. Yes, I would definitely go ahead and check them out. Jacksonville Wealth Builders. From them, they would be definitely a great thing to check out as far as management of investment portfolios. All right, guys, ladies and gentlemen, I am out for the night, but I will be again going live on Wednesday. So if you guys have your questions, make sure you guys post them on. Also, I'll be available on the Discord to answer your questions. But again, if you want me to address something on the live stream, then go ahead and post it in the Q&A and I will do my best. Hopefully you guys have a great week upcoming for distance learning. And if not, let me know so I can go ahead and help you with your questions. Have a great week, guys, and I will see you on your next one. No, eventually I do not use Photoshop. Cheers.